On March 8, 2014, at 1:37 a.m., a Boeing 777 with 239 people aboard simply stopped talking to the world, and the search that followed invented an entirely new way to find the unfindable. For decades, we've told ourselves a reassuring story about aviation. Modern aircraft don't just disappear. They leave trails, radar blips, radio calls, wreckage. This telegram right here from the Malaysian government's official statement confirms it. Mechanical failure, they assured us. A catastrophic event, swift and traceable. But MH370 wasn't going to cooperate with that narrative. The aircraft departed Kuala Lumpur bound for Beijing at 12:41 a.m. local time. 41 minutes into flight, at the handoff between Malaysian and Vietnamese airspace, the transponder, that electronic voice that tells the world where you are, went silent. Deliberately, someone in that cockpit reached up and switched it off. The initial theory held firm for weeks: a fire maybe, or structural failure. Investigators pointed to the cockpit's complexity, the redundancy of systems. Surely something had failed catastrophically. The families waiting in Beijing for arrivals that would never come heard nothing but speculation and reassurance. We had a framework for this. We knew how planes disappeared. But here's where the official story begins to crack. The plane's aircraft communications addressing and reporting system, ACARS, had also been disabled. Not together with the transponder, but separately, minutes apart. That's not a fire. That's not a cascade failure. That's two intentional acts by someone with intimate knowledge of the 777 systems. The radar data, this is crucial, showed the aircraft had turned sharply westward after those systems went dark. It descended to 5,000 feet, low enough to avoid detection by commercial radar. Someone was flying the plane with precision. Someone was hiding it. The mechanical failure theory died there in the data. For months, investigators pursued the wreckage. They dredged the South China Sea. They scanned the Strait of Malacca. Nothing. The ocean, it turns out, is vastly better at keeping secrets than we'd assumed. But here's what happened next. This is where MH370 changed everything. The search became impossible, and impossible searches demand new tools. Investigators possessed one fragile thread: the Inmarsat satellite data. The plane, even without its transponder, was still pinging a commercial satellite. Those pings created a mathematical arc, a circle of possible locations. But which point on that arc was the actual crash site? That required something aviation had never built before: forensic oceanography. Scientists at the University of Western Australia began modeling ocean currents with unprecedented precision. They calculated where debris would drift if the plane went down at different points along that arc. They factored in monsoon winds, temperature, salinity. They built digital ghosts of the Indian Ocean itself. In July 2015, a wing flaperon washed ashore on Réunion Island, a French territory thousands of kilometers from where searchers expected wreckage. The models had predicted it, not the exact spot but the general direction. Confirmation came in the serial numbers. It was from MH370. The technology had worked. Over the following years, more pieces surfaced along the East African coast: a horizontal stabilizer, fuselage fragments, interior panels. Each one validated the models further. Each one told us the plane had gone down in the southern Indian Ocean, far from land, exactly where the invisible mathematics said it would. But the wreck itself, the fuselage, the black boxes, the answers to how and why remained on the ocean floor 6,000 meters down in waters so remote that only specialized deep-sea vessels could reach it. Multiple search expeditions launched and failed. The technology existed to find it. The will, the funding, the political coordination, those proved harder to locate. What MH370 actually did was force aviation to reinvent how we think about lost aircraft. Satellite forensics became a discipline. Ocean current modeling became standard protocol. Forensic oceanography, the idea of reading the ocean like a crime scene, went from theoretical to operational. The plane that vanished taught us to see what was invisible. The official investigation concluded in 2018 with a stark finding. The plane had been deliberately flown off course. The how was clear. The why remains one of aviation's most haunting unknowns. But the families of 239 people didn't get closure from that report. They got something else: a map of where their loved ones fell. Here's the bitter irony right here in the historical record. We found MH370 without finding it. We located it through absence, through the void it left in systems, in data, in the ocean itself. The plane that was meant to disappear completely became the catalyst for technology that ensures nothing can vanish quite so thoroughly again. Every commercial aircraft flying today carries redundant tracking systems, mandated because of MH370. The aviation safety network's protocols changed. Insurance companies rewrote their models. Universities launched oceanography programs dedicated to drift analysis. A missing plane rewrote the rules of finding planes. The 777 itself remains in the Indian Ocean, its black boxes still encrypted in silence. We know where it crashed, but not why the person in that cockpit chose to erase 239 lives from the sky. That mystery endures. But the technologies born from searching for it, those are real, deployed, and working right now on every ocean crossing you've ever made. MH370 didn't disappear into mystery and stay there. It transformed into a lesson written in satellite data and ocean currents, a lesson about how catastrophe becomes catalyst, how loss becomes innovation. The plane is still missing, but nothing like it will ever be lost quite the same way again. Subscribe to this channel. We uncover the untold engineering and scientific stories buried inside aviation's darkest mysteries.